wipe the smile off them.
Ray Mears!
What happens if the kangaroos are constipated?
Alanis Morissette! You've got a one-track mind.
Scotland take on the Czech Republic in their latest international friendly. Friday kick-off at 4:30, live on BBC Two Scotland and BBC Radio Scotland.
BBC Two Scotland, now Newsnight with Gavin Esler and Newsnight Scotland with Gordon Brewer.
Could it be coming to a green field near you? Gordon Brown's more ambitious plans for nuclear energy. Tonight, nuclear power will play a bigger part in Britain's energy future, the Prime Minister suggested today. With oil prices up, gas prices through the roof, is nuclear the answer? Or is it a distraction from Gordon Brown's other problems?
Last Thursday evening, we sat as a family and we saw a programme that started at 6:35. And it was the dirtiest programme that I have seen for a very long time.
If more people had listened to the TV campaigner Mary Whitehouse, would Britain be a better place?
And on Newsnight Scotland, medical advances mean we can now keep very premature babies alive. But many of them will face short, painful, difficult lives. So should we be saving them just because we can?
Good evening. At a time when gas, oil and energy prices continue to rise, the Prime Minister tried to change the conversation today with a cluster of new ideas and everything from nuclear power to cluster bombs. At a meeting with representatives of the oil industry, Gordon Brown announced some expansion of new fields in the North Sea, and he also put a renewed emphasis on the most controversial energy source of all, nuclear power. But as all the government's actions are under increased scrutiny for signs of panic and weakness, was this a well-thought-out suggestion or a sign of some kind of panic at the top? Gillian Lacey-Solomar reports.
Gordon Brown was determined to be proactive today. He went on the offensive against the high price of oil, demanding that production in the North Sea should rise. But even if he got his way, realistically, changes in British production could barely move the price gauge on global oil prices. Still, in full proactive flow, the Prime Minister then turned to another element of energy policy, nuclear energy.
We want to do more to diversify our supply of energy, and that's why I think we're pretty clear that we'll have to do more than simply replace existing nuclear capability in Britain. We'll be more ambitious in our plans for nuclear for the future. The important thing is to get the supply in Britain as much as possible so we have energy security, but we've also got to look at how we can increase supply around the world.
In a week when he's faced with one set of fuel protests and the threat of more, with accusations of weakness and of losing the initiative, why would the Prime Minister choose this very moment to rekindle the debate on controversial sources of energy? Why go nuclear now?
I don't think you can blame any government or Prime Minister to want to be seen to be doing something in this kind of situation. The problem is there's very little any government can do about the world price of oil. What it can do something about is domestic energy policy. And every bit of common sense points towards diversity. And that means nuclear, it means renewables, it means clean coal, in order to lessen our dependence on oil and gas.
It's taken years for the government to declare its hand on the expansion of nuclear power. Yes, Energy Minister John Hutton has referred to more power stations before, but this is the first time the Prime Minister has been so bold. And yet, it's one thing to make the announcement, but in an industry that's not in public hands, it's quite another to see it become a reality.
The government has made a big point that it wants to have everything provided for by the private sector and financed by the private sector.